It's going to be a little bit unique in that I'm going to drop a little wine knowledge on you. Why? Because my background is colorful, to say the very least. And one of the things I used to do a lot was to work with the Oklahoma wine industry. And I still have some connections there, and I want to go ahead and make sure that they are aware of things that they can do, but also you as a wine consumer, you also can learn some things as well. So I now want this knowledge out there so that it's also a reference for you if you ever are wondering, is there wine seasons? Can you drink wine seasonally? That is a great question. And so let's go ahead and answer that real quick. We are in what they call dry January. Now, dry January has come, it's a different kind of a way that they use it. For some, that means it's them a chance for them to take a break so that they can, do something different and not drink alcohol during January. However, it's also a good way to reference what kind of wine you should be drinking at this point. In the winter time, in what I consider November, December, January, this is time for you to be drinking dry wines. Now, dry wines consist of Cabernet, Chardonnay, you've got Chambourcin, you've got Tempranillo, you've got Norton, you've got all kinds of, so you have the wines of the world. You got Chianti, you got some of the others out of Italy, you got Bordeaux, you got beautiful wines from all over the world. But then our Oklahoma wines, you have things again like the Chambourcin, like the Tempranillo, like a Norton, Cynthiana, things like that. They are really beautiful and they're dry and they're bold, and so they're dry wines. Now there's also dry, semi-sweet, and sweet. A lot of times we like to start sweet. If you don't believe it, most of us started out by drinking a certain sweet wine. A lot of you was Boone's Farm. Let's be real. It was, and if it was, what was the first wine you drank? Put it in the comments. Was it Strawberry Hill? What was it that you drank first? So put it in the comments so I can see that. That'd be great. So it is dry wine season. Now that season to me lasts to right around, of course, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is very different. Valentine's Day, we start to get into what I call the rosés or the pinks. Why? Because you can get a little bit sweeter, not a lot, but a little bit sweeter, or just the tint of the wine changes. So the dark reds, the oak Chardonnays, you might have a naked Chardonnay. A naked Chardonnay meaning there's no oak on it. Hello. It has a little bit of incredible complexity to it, has a vegetal quality. It maybe has some fruit forward stuff. You'll start to see some of the flavored wines or fortified wines, and you'll see that. So it's a good time during particularly Valentine's Day to start thinking about Chardonnays, think about Spritzers, which means also fresh fruit. So you might put something that if you are super sweet, like you are a gangster rapper or a college girl, you might like Moscato. Why? Because guess what? Those are the two people that love Moscatos, gangster rappers and college girls. And why? Because it's sweet like Kool-Aid. It is a very sweet, amazing wine, but it is really, really interesting. So hopefully you are thinking of your Valentine's Day. Where are you getting your wine from? Are you buying locally? I would encourage, as I have people are commenting below, make sure you are respectful and that you are kind and that you are not doing anything that you shouldn't be, because ultimately I will delete you or block you if not. Sorry, just have to do that in the middle, because yesterday I had some people that were not on their best behavior. So while you're thinking about Valentine's Day, don't forget your pairings as well. You've got to have chocolate. So do you have the best chocolates? If you're in Oklahoma, Bedray Chocolates is phenomenal. You got Apple Tree Chocolates. If you are in Norman, you've got some incredible chocolatiers. The beef, obviously, in Oklahoma is phenomenal. If you're from somewhere else, make sure that you know your best beef producers and get that steak. Now, obviously, we have no lobster. We have lobster, but they're not from here. There's no Oklahoma lobster. If there was, it'd be called a crawdad and crayfish, and it wouldn't be the same thing. So it's like a big old mess. So ultimately, you're planning for your Valentine's Day. Make sure you have the right wine. If it is a white wine, how to chill it really fast. Let me give you that tip right now, is you get a bucket of ice and you stick a bottle of wine in it for 15 minutes. That thing is ready to be drank. It is chilled that quickly. It is a very fast way to chill your wine. If you want to put it in the fridge, you can for up to an hour. Red wines are drunk warm. Ultimately, you open them ahead of time and let them breathe, they call it, or let the air get to them so that you can smell it and swirl it and do all the tastings that go with it to get it all in your taste sensors and make that happen. So again, we're in that early on. We're in reds and dries right now because we have a cold snap next week. So dry red wine, dry white wine, fireplace, enjoying that. And then you start to do the rosés. Then you have spring break. Spring break to me, which is March around here, mid-March, we start to get sweeter and lighter, and you start to see Sauvignon Blancs come in. You start to see Rieslings out of Germany. Now, you can still have a dry Riesling out of Germany, and that is phenomenal, and it is unique and different and layered. But you can have Rieslings out of the United States that are both dry and sweet, depending on which one you want. Generally, they're semi-sweet. They're a good blend. For a person that likes a dry wine and a sweet wine, a Riesling is a fantastic option for them. You also can do amazing pairings and tastings. Again, I like to mix things up a little bit. Then you get done with spring break. You are starting the beginning of summer. Now, I'm not going to go all the way through grape production because I'll do that in a different video, but I will let you know that bud break is around April. So that's when the vines start growing and things change quite a bit. The wineries in Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma space, have events all year long. They're phenomenal. Check out all the events they have going on. Monthly events, multiple weekends, there's events, there's large festivals. The festival season really runs. You can do it year round, but the reality is the outdoor festival season starts about March and goes until about October. End of October, early November. Then you have local indoor festivals. You have herd events that does them all over the state. So you can, and they have different wineries that go all over, anywhere from Kellyville, Norman, Chickasha, El Reno. I mean, they've got events all over, and they do crafts and wine at the same time. You can check them out. They're phenomenal. I've got friends all over. If you want to do a wine cave, Clarn Ridge up in Edmond is at 6,000 West Waterloo is amazing. They have an actual wine cave underneath. I've got several people that have their own vineyards. Canadian River has their own vineyards. I've got several that are negociants, meaning that they get juice in from all over, and then they end up making the wine on site there, and so they do it at their place. I want to, of course, welcome one of the newest, almost the brand newest winery, is Quartz Mountain Winery in Altus, Oklahoma. Happens to be my hometown. It's on the downtown square on the southwest side on the corner. It used to be a bookstore and a bakery. It is a beautiful building. It's phenomenal. A great chance for you to go visit Southwest Oklahoma and spend some time there. It is amazing. They can be added to the trails hopefully soon. So it'll be a fun trip for you to go down Medicine Park and go down that southwest corner and follow the mountain range. Incredible. So then you have summertime. Now summertime is a blast. Why? Because you have all the time to go travel, do tastings, check out the Oklahoma wine trail maps, look at Oklahoma agritourism. We're growing all the time. New things are being created. It's a good chance for you to get your friends together and go together. Always either hire a bus, have a driver, pay a kid, something to drive you around. Why? Because if you do multiple wineries in one day, it's a lot. I'm just not going to lie. It's a lot. Even if you eat between, it's a lot. I did wine tours for several years, and it was a whole lot. Because there was a lot of things going on. You're eating in between. We did 3 to 4 wineries. They do maybe 6 to 8 tastings per winery. So you had a lot happening. So you really do need to do that. There is tour groups out there that do that where they'll bus you around. And there's Oklahoma Wine Tours group that I share on my on my page, on my Facebook page, Future Growth and Vision Network, and I also share it on my regular page because it's a friend of mine, and I like that they do that. I also, summer is a time when we start to, again, have events. Weddings are huge, and planning for weddings is January. So while you're thinking January, you're like thinking, what about a wedding? Wedding planning for vineyards is now. So you need to get on their books. You need to pick your venue, pick your space. A lot of them have wedding packages. You can go find out how much that is. Get on their calendars quickly because you're going to need that if you need it for any other reason, whether it's a business space, Tidal School or Tidewater up in Stroud. Beautiful. Tidewater, I believe, is the name there. And so there's a lot of beautiful spaces. There's a lot of incredible opportunities for you to have events. Coal Creek is a phenomenal, like plantation style, like Southern style event space. They're phenomenal. There's just a lot of ways that you can get connected. So in summer, you're doing all that. Well, then you're like, wait a minute. When is harvest around here? Well, I'm glad you asked. The harvest is in August. It's in early August. Most of the wine regions on the coast and the cooler areas is like late September, October. Here in Oklahoma, by September, we're done. I mean, we have first week of August, late July. By the end of August, we're pretty much finished with all of our grape growing. Now, we had a phenomenal year last year for grape growing. My hope is that this year it's the same. One of our most elite winemakers in Oklahoma at this point is Sabatier out of Norman. We're seeing his wine in a lot of high-end restaurants. So I'm also very excited to see what Oklahoma State is doing to keep educating and growing and making things better. And they're doing, their viticulture program is doing incredible work. We are seeing the growth of the industry. We're seeing new winemakers come into the industry, young people starting to get into it. It's phenomenal. August, September, and October, you're getting into grape stomp season. If you're like that, yes, it does. Canadian River has had a grape stomp every year for like 25 years. I think 25 years. That number could be wrong, and they can correct me, I promise. It has been a tradition every fall that people do that, and they have a VIP experience the night before, like Friday night, and then the grape stomp is Sunday. So that VIP experience is a dinner and wine pairing. You get to stomp grapes, no kids. So it's an adult night. You get a chance to really come out there and experience that. If the weather's beautiful, it's out on the deck. If it's a little bit more interesting, it's in the barrel room. It is absolutely amazing and fun, and it's a great way for you to connect, a great date night, and it's just a great exploration of Oklahoma wine, and to be able to walk through the vineyards is really cool. Again, that time of year, we're starting to think the holidays, October, November, December is Christmas time. We're starting to see more events. I would love to see, of course, even more events when it comes to the holidays to make that experience for you, that you have a great holiday wine experience to buy locally. And then at that point, the wines go back to dry. So we've gone sweet. We got sweeter to all the Moscatos, and all the light wines are in the summertime. You can do anything. I mean, blushes. You've got Zinfandels. You've got all the plethora of the middle group is in the summertime. You can do chilled wine. You can do sangrias. You can do all kinds of frozen wine slushes are a huge deal in the summertime, and they last sometimes till late October because, again, it can be hot here. So you have all of that for the whole of summer into the fall. You get into that October, November, December, we're getting back to mulled wine. We're going back to red and dry and bringing in that cold weather along with the drier wines and less sweet. Now, does that mean you cannot have those wines different times? No. You absolutely can have them at any time. You can taste whatever you like, whenever you would like to. You need to check the different tasting schedules, how much it costs to taste, whether if you buy a bottle, then is the tasting for free. There's different rules in different wineries, and it's just the way it is. There are legal limits that they have to put in place, and they have to be careful, but ultimately it is a great experience. Hopefully this has been a calendar that makes sense to you. My goal is to put in the comments a little bit about each kind of wine and what general time frame, about 3 months. I'll do winter, spring, summer, fall will be the transition time. And I'll put on probably fall, I'll put in there that it's grape stomp time. So I'll put a little bit in the comments for you to have that as a calendar reminder for you. If you know a wine person, let them watch this video, get excited. I will do a different video later on about the winemaking process. It'll be a little bit longer, and I don't know if I can bring up a PowerPoint, but I might try and do that and see if I can show you and do it that way. But we will see what's possible. I hope that this has been a great education piece for you. And if nothing else, you can drop some wine knowledge on people. Isn't that awesome? Thank you all for commenting. I appreciate you. And I hope that you keep coming back and keep watching and you subscribe.